everybody? It's the Lawn Gnome, and welcome to a video that I know that you all have been so excited for. So, of course, we are here to do a brand new episode of 007, A Bondiful Year. If you are new to my channel, let me just say welcome. It's a pleasure to have you. And for all of you who watched in 2019 when I reviewed all of the previous 24 James Bond films in anticipation for the newest installment, let's just say that thanks to all the things that happened in that time span until today, we officially now have a true textbook definition for the infamous line, "The suspense is killing me." So, in 2021, we finally get the 25th installment to the James Bond franchise that started all the way back in 1962 with the 25th film, No Time to Die, also being the final film for Daniel Craig's James Bond run as 007 himself. So this movie, of course, brings Daniel Craig back with a lot of characters and the actors that play them that you know and love for the last couple of years. We have Naomi Harris back as Moneypenny, Ralph Fiennes as M, Ben Whishaw as Q. We also have Lee Seydoux returning as Madeline Swan, and we even have Christoph Waltz returning as the infamous Blofeld, and of course Jeffrey Wright as Felix Leiter. But we also have some new additions to this cast, including Ana de Armas as an agent named Paloma. We also have a new member of MI6 named Gnome, who is played by Lashana Lynch, as well as the brand new James Bond villain, who I think so many of us were excited to see show up on the big screen, the great Rami Malek as Safin. This was definitely a very interesting couple of years for James Bond, because this was the very first time that we really got a true, continuous story. Starting back with Casino Royale, we saw a rookie 00 agent working for MI6, and now we've gotten to the point where James Bond has let go of MI6 and the 007 name, and has officially gone off with his wife Madeline Swan to officially have a brand new life together in retirement. But of course, when it comes to the world of James Bond, the past always comes back to haunt him. And of course, in this storyline, it comes back in the infamous form of Spectre. But there's a new twist to the development when it comes to Spectre, because Spectre agents are dying, and it is not at the hands of MI6, and it is not even by a physical human hand. It turns out that we are now witnessing a rogue villain using germ warfare, how appropriate for this time, in the way that specific people can be infected with a rare virus, and this virus has the ability to do bad things either to the host or do bad things to the people who are closest to the host. That could be friends, that could be coworkers, that could even be family. So of course, James Bond is called out of retirement, and I don't know if he was called back willingly, to discover that MI6 is definitely a different place, especially because of the fact that there is now a brand new person who is holding the title of 007. And let me just tell you one thing, she is very much happy about the fact that she has that title, because she not only wants to show James Bond that she can definitely be an amazing 00 agent, but she wants to be bigger, faster, stronger, as any person who holds a coveted title wants to be, regardless of their race, gender, or sexual orientation. So, of course, I have been loving the Daniel Craig James Bond films. I think that each and every one of them are incredible. It is so different from the previous Bond films, so rich in character development and incredible stories, but they still managed to throw that amazing wit and humor in there. And knowing that this was going to be the final James Bond film with Daniel Craig, I was hoping that we were finally going to get something in these last couple of decades with James Bond that we had never gotten before. A truly amazing send-off for the actor who played James Bond. And I will say, thanks to the director Cary Fukunaga, we got an amazing send-off for James Bond. a first as far as I'm concerned. I didn't really know what this movie was going to be just because of the fact that it took so long for it to finally get to theaters. And let me just say, calling up my father and saying to him, "Dad, it's time to go see the new James Bond movie," let's just say that regardless of whether this movie was going to be good, bad, or in between, the fact that I was going to be seeing it with my father and as well as my brother-in-law, I just was so happy about it. And I loved this film. I thought that this film did such an incredible job capping off the story, working with the characters, bringing the new characters in and playing off the old characters beautifully, as well as the brand new song, which actually came out last year because nobody knew if this movie was even going to make it to theaters in 2020. And it was Billie Eilish who was chosen to sing the new James Bond song, and it is right up there with all the greats. As the songs did not start off so memorable with Casino Royale, but when we moved on up to this point, we have already gotten 2 Oscar winners in the last 2 James Bond films, and I wouldn't be surprised if No Time to Die gets nominated for Best Original Song because I loved the way it sounded and I loved Billie Eilish's vocals on it. So there was also a lot of criticism in this movie, and because of the fact that it has been a while since this movie has been in theaters, and because of the fact that I go a little bit further in depth, I am going to talk about those matters. So, was I upset about the fact that there was a woman that was chosen to hold the 007 title? No, I was not, because I think that it really fit in with the story. And did I find Lashana Lynch being the best part of this film? Not necessarily. She did have her moments, but there were some points in time where I felt that, and this is not her fault, I think the director purposely wanted to try and get this character to get under James Bond's skin, and I really did not appreciate the angle that they took because it really did at times make this new character a little unlikable, and that's not what I want. I want all these characters to be liked. Even the villains, I want people to be happy with how deliciously evil they are. And Rami Malek was definitely a fantastic villain. I really appreciated the fact that he was not extremely bombastic, that he was quiet, he was subtle. Those are what makes the best Bond villains, as far as I'm concerned. I did also like the fact that Q was very much involved in this movie. Q is never in the movie for more than about 10 minutes. So the fact that they really gave Ben Whishaw a lot of screen time, especially because of the fact that the dynamic that he has with Daniel Craig is dynamite. I absolutely love the fact that they gave him a lot more time. Also, one of the other things that really upset me, and this is the real negative that I have, and it may even sound positive, we get this new agent named Paloma. She's not working for the MI6. I believe she worked for the CIA because it was a very fast series of moments in this film. But this rookie, so to speak, agent who teams up with James Bond for no more than 20 minutes in the film, and I loved her performance. Ana de Armas was so fun. She was hilarious. The comedic timing was absolutely perfect. And the funny part was when I was walking out of the theaters and talking about this movie with my brother-in-law and dad, we were all agreeing, why didn't Paloma get more screen time? Because we wanted more of her. She was fantastic. And I really hope that all of you will let me know if I'm completely wrong about that, because I loved her performance in this film. She was great, and I wanted so much more of her. Now, of course, the big elephant in the room was what happened to James Bond. If I'm going to talk about the fact that we've never gotten a truly great send-off for James Bond, I think that this was a great send-off because James Bond doesn't make it. And they toast to his memory at the very end. If I want to throw a little bit of what's going on in the world right now, along with this James Bond movie, to me, killing James Bond is something that makes a great deal of sense today, because of the fact that when No Time to Die first hits theaters, we find out about the demographics. People under the age of 35 were not going to see a James Bond movie. And I think it's just because of the fact that this whole concept of spy and espionage, especially a serious take on those themes, is not something that the public is really looking for in terms of youth and average movie-going youth. It's upsetting to me because I think that James Bond is such an icon, and the fact that this is a franchise that managed to be extremely strong, even die off in the 1980s, only to come back stronger in the 1990s with GoldenEye, to just think about the fact that there's just people out there, a majority, that don't want to see James Bond films, If this is the very last James Bond film that ever gets made, I will personally say that this was the perfect way to end the franchise. I really, really do. But at the end of the credits, it says James Bond will return. So the real question is, are they going to be continuing this franchise? Who's going to be taking up the role as James Bond? Because there's a lot of people that were thinking that Lashana Lynch's character was going to be, but clearly it did not say 007 will return. It said James Bond will return. So as far as I'm concerned, if they decide to make a 26th Bond movie, I will be front row center because I love these films. I am so glad that Daniel Craig got the perfect James Bond send-off that every James Bond actor truly deserved. Thank God we finally got a great one, and thank God this movie finally got to us because it was definitely worth the wait. It was filled with so much depth and emotion, and this whole Daniel Craig run has been practically perfection. I am going to give James Bond No Time to Die 3.5 stars out of 4. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please leave your comments in the box below and let's discuss No Time to Die. Will this be the very last episode of a Bondiful year? I don't know, but I have to be honest with you guys. I gave you a promise to complete this, and I am glad to say that I finally was able to fulfill that promise. So hopefully I will see you in the next one. If you enjoyed the video you just watched, feel free to leave a comment. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to be up to date with our latest videos. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next one. Actions speak louder than words.